sometimes you need to work and sometimes you don't. And I did need to work, and I actually opened up the script saying, whatever this script is, I need to do this job right now, just financially. I needed to. I opened up the script and I looked and there were actually things in it that I liked. And I liked the character, and I mean, definitely the element of the morbid, I was attracted to that, no question. Well, usually what I do when I read a script is I'll read the opening few pages, I'll read the end few pages, and then I'll look at the character that they're interested in me for, and I skip everything else. I don't read the entire thing, and I read a fair amount of it, but I can usually tell if there's decency behind the writing or not just by doing that, because you can see if the character has arcs or not, if there's psychological truth behind it, and I did find that there were interesting things in it. So it wasn't. I was happy. I was quite relieved when I read it, because I knew I needed to make the movie. And I called my agent and said, "This is. I'm glad. This is a movie I want to do." The most challenging part was definitely to figure out the intelligence level of the character. There's a lot of different kinds of intelligence, and I knew it had. I have to look up at the character of Frank, and the way the dialogue was written, I speak, and it's funny. I talked to somebody right after coming back. Somebody who's from New York. She speaks with a very thick Brooklyn accent, and when she first talked to me, she said, "What happened to your accent?" And I said, "What?" And I hadn't talked to her in a while, and I think maybe my own enunciation had softened a little bit just because I was doing the Texas accent a bit, because like even right now, I can tell that I'm particularly articulating because I'm explaining certain details or something, and I tend toward getting to, I know my speech pattern, my own speech pattern has changed through my life at various times, and I was born in New York, and when I moved to Los Angeles when I was 4, I did not like the sound of the Los Angeles accent, so I very specifically enunciated my words so I wouldn't have a Los Angeles accent. But I know I can fall into it, and I did it to an extreme in a film, River's Edge, where I spoke with a really strong Southern Californian accent. It was very easy for me to do that. But I started to realize when I was thinking about the way that this person would speak, I knew it had to be regional. And that there had to be almost a class differentiation between me and Frank in some level, and I was glad that when I came to Texas, they hired a dialect coach from Texas, Dwight, who I was glad when I heard that Jason was going to do it, because I'd seen some of his work and he's got a likable quality which seemed immediately right for the character. And he has a certain absurd sense of humor that I can relate to, and I could genuinely laugh at it. It wasn't something that had to be forced or anything, and I definitely let that happen, and I think it was helpful, and it hopefully will make it feel as though there's a genuine friendship that's happened or something. So hopefully that'll be useful. But I've really liked working with him. It was good to shoot in Texas on a general level, because anytime that you shoot on location, there's just more concentration. And then, of course, there's the flavor of the place that you're supposed to be in, and this is Texas, but also being able to listen to people talking and the area. That was certainly helpful, and the flavor and feel of the place. It does make a difference. I'd shot in Austin about 12 years before, in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, but that was not supposed to be in Texas when we shot that. So I wasn't as conscientious about listening to people speaking and just kind of the way about. So yeah, Michael was, it was his first film, and I've had experience before when writer directors, and it's their first film, where they can get very locked into something that they've put down on paper, and then when something's veered away from, it can be really problematic and kill life. And he wasn't like that. I tend toward hating the concept of a comedy. I've been in a lot of comedies, and I know people think of me as funny, and I know I can actually be funny. But I wasn't trained as a comic actor. I was trained as a dramatic actor. But to me, always good drama contains humorous elements. And that's the most interesting to me personally, is a drama that has humor within it. I generally don't like comedies because I feel that there's a stylization that people get into that is false and doesn't make me laugh, because I can see that they're trying to accomplish something that doesn't deal organically with what necessarily is going on. Sometimes they can, but generally that's something I have a fairly morbid or dark sense of humor. So things that are considered dark dramas often are certain directors. Those are films that actually make me laugh more. I find that this film. I hesitate to say things until I see something edited, because you always see actors talking about something and it's obviously before the film's been done or whatever, and they're projecting what the experience they had on the set, and it's hard to know. I mean, hopefully, I hope there'll be some good dramatic elements to it, and hopefully there'll be humor within it. Well, the thing that made me laugh the most was when I told Jason there was he obviously had I could relate to it to a certain extent, that he didn't want to, like, he saw a bug, and that a bug, he was trying to get away from a bug, and I said, it's on your neck, and he really he really believed it, and that made me laugh. I don't think that's not on film. That was funny though. Cruelty is always a little bit funny. Yeah, I liked it, making the movie. It was fun.